Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another video. Thank you for joining me this evening. I am sitting on my front porch, well, standing because our chairs are in the garage because we had some storms a few days ago that made the chairs go that way. Speaking of that way, it's really foggy outside. It wasn't this foggy a few minutes ago when I brought our pup out here. She's patiently waiting to go back inside, but I wanted to take a minute. It's nice and warm out here, so I wanted to take a minute and update you guys on all the drama that continues to unfold with the Bolt EUV. Earlier today, I get this email. I open this email, and over the last week or so, I've been getting excited when emails from GM or the dealership come in because in my mind, I'm thinking the light at the end of the tunnel is brightly shining. It's in my face, right? So it's appropriate. I get this email and I start reading it. A couple of lines in, the email reads, in order to process your paperwork, we will have to verify and review the old vehicle. Would you mind, at your convenience, bringing it into the dealership for an inspection? And I had to reread that a few times because I thought maybe with my ADHD and whatever else goes on in my head, I was just not focused or I read it wrong. No, I read it correctly. In fact, I read it a few times and I read it out loud. I even had Siri read it to me a few times, and they really sent me an email asking me for the 2020 Premier that is 2,000 miles that way. They wanted me to grab the keys and bring it in 30 miles that way. So, yeah, you can kind of imagine at this point that my heart skipped a few beats. I thought, I was going to collapse and fade out. And I really started getting upset because this process isn't new. I've been dealing with it for over a year. I've probably had 8 people from GM and then 6 dealerships to date have been involved with this process. And I can't seem to understand what's going on in these people's minds. Now, I get it. They're dealing with a lot. They got a lot of people. They've got a lot of problems, issues, whatever, the state of the world. I get it. But I immediately picked up the phone and I called my guy up here in Spartanburg and I told him, I said, dude, you got to help me understand this. You guys are going to kill me. You guys are going to be the end of me, you know? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I said, I got this email. And I read the email to him and he's like, I didn't send you that email. I'm like, who did? Somebody sent me an email from the dealership asking for my old car. Like, do you know that car was surrendered in LA? And he says, yeah, no, I know your whole story. And I said, well, please do me a favor. Figure out what's happening and heal my heart because I'm going to collapse if there's one more problem. I really need the car. I had to rent a vehicle to go up to Washington, D.C. on Thursday because my car is not in my driveway. So he says, yeah, let me look at it. I'm so sorry, let me look at it. He puts me on hold for about 45 seconds, gets back on the phone. And at this point, I'm starting to calm down because he told me that he didn't send it. If he would have sent it, I would have been in my wife's car on my way there and thoroughly upset. In fact, this video had probably been shot from their parking lot. But anyway, I calmed down a little bit and he says, I got to apologize to you. That email was meant for somebody else. It was a mistake in our system. Somebody clicked the wrong buttons. And I said, are you sure? Like, are you positive? Because you obviously know that I can't just get on a flight and show up at the Chevy dealership in Santa Clarita, California and ask for the keys back. Because that's just not how things work. And he said, oh, no. Here's what's going to happen. He says, GM has to do packets. And I'll explain in a second. GM has to do these packets, They're going to send the packets over. We're going to sign them. You're going to sign them. And we're going to give you the keys to your car. And I told him, I said, great. Explain to me what this packet is. I need to know what this packet is. And he says, oh, yeah, yeah. So GM does these financial packets where, all of the details from your old car, all of the details from the new car, and everything that surrounds the transaction gets put into this packet. It's essentially a contract, if you will. And everybody signs off, and a new financial account is created if you're financing or whatever, if you're paying cash, whatever. And I said, oh, okay, good, good, good. So it's a standard transaction like you would if I was to purchase a vehicle right on your lot, right from your lot. And he said, yeah, pretty much. It's that packet you get at the end. I said, okay, great. So get the packet. I said, well, how does this involve the other dealership? Because I'm not there. I can't kick them around if they screw up or mess up. How do we know that there isn't going to be a problem in the end? He's like, well, so what GM's going to do is they're going to split this packet. They're going to send half of it to LA. They're going to keep the other half here. And then once the dealership in LA signs their end that they've received the car, they have the car and everything, and we do our agreement here, we'll give you the keys. And that's it. Process is done. Essentially, the last step is going to be that somebody in that dealership is going to order a truck to pick up that vehicle, my old 2020 Premier. They're going to put it on a truck. They're going to get it on a freight train. They're going to deliver it back to some warehousing facility, maybe Michigan, I don't know. And from there, that process is out of my reach, out of my care, because I'll have my new car, and by then, I won't really care about what is needed for the old car. He said that twice, just so I get everything in my head. Everything is, settled fresh. And I told him, I said, do me a favor, repeat it one last time for me, and then send me an email. Because I need to know that I'm not losing my head. I need to know that if I wake up in the middle of the night, I wasn't dreaming, that kind of thing. Because you never know, mental lapses. When you're stressed out, things happen. No, sure enough, he did all that. He said, yeah, Tom, don't worry about it. Everything's going to be fine.